Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3. Hello and welcome to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast. I'm Darren Moser, along with particle physicist Daniel Prue. Daniel, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm glad to be here, even though I guess shouldn't be, since, we're stranded here and stuff, but my symposium is going to be for a very limited audience, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Look, at least you have 2 guaranteed attendees every year.
Oh, actually, I was going to go look at the rock.
No.
Remember, your food ration is tied to this, Philip.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry, but that's the way he set it up. Well, and I'm also joined by Head of Research and Development, Philip Gilfus, who's trying to weasel out of this year's symposium. I mean, symposiums don't come along that often,
Yes,
Philip.
but weaseling out of things is what separates us from the animals. Except the weasel.
I didn't know we had animals on this planet.
What about space weasels? Yeah.
It's actually
or sweezels.
It's actually because I've managed to finally get some late showings of Marvel movies. I've been investigating the space weasels on this planet, and I think one of them could be genetically engineered to be made into like a kick-ass kind of thing.
Oh, so you're saying like a rocket character?
No, Daniel. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying
is
a weasel completely different from any
gun-toting weasel.
intellectual
that's very
property
different.
that might resemble
Very
it.
different.
Yeah. So
like more like I am Weasel?
no, again, that's a problematic area. I feel like this is going to be more of a missile weasel. That's sort of the working title.
Oh, missile weasel.
Weasel.
Yes, okay, great. They're kind of missile shaped already, I guess, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But all right,
Or weapon weasel. You get the alliteration there.
weasel weapon.
Torpedo weasel.
See, I feel like this is going to be like a Chicago Hope ER thing with me and Darren, where we're both going to have the same idea but go in different directions, and so.
Well, today we're not going to be talking about weapon weasels, unfortunately.
Weapon weasels. That is also a euphemism. I feel like we don't need to talk.
It was
about
odd. That's actually was a new Saturday morning cartoon I was watching the other day.
Yeah.
So,
For some reason, the protest groups just grew up around that one. I don't know why. But today we are going to be talking about a well-known
Weasel.
a well-known technology in the Star Trek universe. We're going to be talking about cloaks. Now, not Harry Mudd's, kind of off the shoulder, not,
wait, that's mudness,
Vulcan.
Darren.
When you started saying Harry and we were talking about cloaks, my mind immediately went to Harry Potter, of course. So now I'm trying to picture what Harry Mudd would do with the cloak of invisibility. I think he'd get himself.
What would he not do?
I think he'd get himself into some trouble.
Let's not actually spoil the 3rd episode of Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, that's right. When he discovers it,
jeez.
in an old trunk somewhere in the basement.
You're
of
a
the ship.
pirate, Harry. Mudd. Anyway, no, we're going to be talking about ship cloaks, or planet cloaks, as we might get to, that appears in some.
Now, what about personal
episodes.
cloaks?
Yeah.
Because a certain Gamma Quadrant species used a personal cloak an awful lot.
You're right.
yes.
You're right. The
Jem'Hadar.
The Jem'Hadar, which, gosh, they must be like, how do they power that thing?
Through their belief in the founders.
Pretty much.
Ketracel White, I guess.
Well, we're going to start off with the first time we see a cloak in Star Trek, and that is Romulan cloaks. So we see Romulan cloaks in The Balance of Terror, which some would say is one of the best episodes of Star Trek, the original series. It's submarine warfare, Kirk versus the Romulan commander.
Well, I thought that was Sarek.
And it's Sarek's brother played, it's the whole ancestry thing. They started it early.
Actually, if you look real closely in the background of that ship, you'll find the main character from Star Trek Discovery. She was there the whole time. We just didn't know about it. That's all.
Oh, that's right. She was adopted. So is that her original parentage?
No, I'm being salty about that. Sorry.
Yes. Well, so the Romulan cloak, it is detectable slightly, and it But again,
Well, it's got to have a tailpipe.
But it also has a big painted bird on the ship. I think it's a little bit of a giveaway. I mean, if you're trying to hide a ship, maybe just like not just the top.
So what if
part
it cloaked
be-
everything but the paint? So you just see this 2-dimensional bird flying around in space.
It's a little bit of a hot rod. I mean,
Is that the great bird of the galaxy?
Even better.
that
What
how
if
that
when you
rumor
cloaked
started?
It like instead of just making you invisible, it turned you into a giant bird. That seems like a useless cloak. I hate that idea. I wish I never said it. But
Nope, that sounds like a Saturday morning, activate bird cloak. By the power of the majestic bird.
Next
Carry
on
us forth.
Manimal.
So, anyway, but yeah, what do you guys think of this episode? Again, it's highly regarded in Star Trekdom. And just, we get some ground rules for the cloak. Like, it requires a huge amount of energy. You can't, shoot at the same time. You have to kind of show yourself for a moment. But, this is, like I said, a good episode. Daniel, what are your thoughts on the Romulans and their cloak?
Well, that's a different question, but I'll answer the first one.
On this episode.
Yeah. Of course, this episode's great. I actually,
Okay, Philip, what are your... No, just...
I don't know the background of was the cloak invented specifically for this episode? Like, was that what it, or was that like always meant to be kind of a bigger part of the Romulan identity? Or is there always supposed to be a bad guy that could make themselves invisible or whatever? I mean, of course, it's a cool element, but I actually don't know off the top of my head whether or not it was invented for this episode and specifically for this episode.
Well,
it would be interesting to know that, but I'm not sure.
I mean, and again, I don't know the answer, but you talk about the submarine element of this, Darren. I mean, it's sort of like the silent running kind of thing. In space, how do you silent run when you can see them? Well, okay, you have to make it so you can't see them. How you do that? You create a cloak, and so I mean, I think it's interesting because it's sort of the metaphor or the larger metaphor or perhaps analogy, I don't know which way I'm using it right, for the Romulans is that they're a hidden species, right? We don't know who the Romulans are because there's a cloak. Not only is it a cloak, we don't even know what they look like, but somehow we have camera drones that we can pick up what they look like in their bridge. I don't know. Basically, I think what this episode teaches you is that, when you have the camera on your bridge station, like my laptop, for security reasons, and this
put it in the middle.
No. For security reasons, whether it's a Romulan ship, Starfleet, piece of tape.
Yeah,
you got to do a piece of
Sticky
tape
note.
because someone can turn it on when you don't know.
You never know.
It's actually more true than I care to admit, Philip. But that's a good. We should put that in the technical manual.
Yeah, piece of tape.
Well, we also see the cloak in the Enterprise incident again, where we square off against the Romulans.
Intelligence reports that Romulans are now using Klingon technology.
Well, yes, I mean,
boy.
yeah.
Due to a
we don't
Romulan-Klingon alliance.
Yes, well, apparently maybe that went really wrong because as far as we know later, Klingons hate Romulans.
We never find out. It's one of... Here's the thing.
They don't speak about it with outsiders, Daniel.
Yeah, they don't talk about it. It's one of those things that... They did it out of necessity. It was because of the model or whatever, and it's just tough to reconcile it with the rest of canon. So
well, I don't think it is.
Why didn't you just make them Klingon? Well,
No,
I
think.
I mean, they could have.
No, I think it's a good story. They just never did anything with it because because of that hatred. It's not like we ever go back in time and be like, oh, like Enterprise, Klingons hate Romulans. No, that's consistent. So there's nothing inconsistent with it. But they've never explained what happened that tore them apart as allies that had create this blood feud between the two species. So, I mean, that would be an interesting thing.
What was their Shaka when the walls fell moment? Now, also with the Romulans, jumping forward several decades, we get the scimitar.
Wow.
The Shinzons.
You kind of skipped over
Wow,
a whole
you
lot.
just skipped everything.
Hey, we're sticking... I'm just going by species, okay?
I
We're gonna go by species
I mean,
today.
I got a warbird I could show you.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry. We'll
there's
back it up a bit. So we
ship
got...
here somewhere.
Yeah, so we do have, we have the Romulan warbird, and it's actually good to point out the scout ship because that's a much smaller ship, so the fact that it can still cloak, and have the power requirements is impressive as well.
Because that was also in Deep Space Nine, right?
It was.
Well, it may not have been the same scout ship class, but the one that the senator used, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The fake.
No,
Senator
it
Reno.
was a real scout ship. I don't think there was any.
It's fake. So,
We hear a lot
It was
about
short-lived
fake
for
scout
this.
ships these days, guys. I'm getting kind of sick of it.
so yes, but no, you're right. We do get this is less about the ship design, but more about the technology.
Well, but the do we agree that at least in the known species that we know that Romulans invented the cloak as we know it?
Yeah, I think that's basically the general consensus, and they shared it in an alliance with the Klingons, which is where they got it from.
Went wrong with that one.
Yeah,
Well, then
it
we should
didn't,
also. I mean, and I'm gonna say Kittimer, but that's not right. What is the treaty that we have with the Romulans?
the Treaty of Algernon.
Algernon.
No,
that's
but
right.
we'll get to that. We'll
Okay,
get to that.
if you're, as
Yeah.
long as you're gonna bring it up, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No,
No.
but yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that's the case. I think it's like warp drive, right? Like a lot of
The
species,
Ferengi just buy it.
Well, I think a lot of species have like independently developed it, but I think the Romulans are kind of at the forefront. They're the experts.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have been doing it the longest. They do it probably the best, I assume. I don't know. Although I guess we could talk about other people afterwards. But
Well, I mean, even just to stick with the Romulans. So, I mean, Enterprise. There's Minefield. I was trying to think, what's the one with the mines? It's the one called Minefield.
Right.
But anyway, so you have
Right.
cloaked mines, which I know we will see in Deep Space Nine. But as far as Romulans, they have cloaked minefields, so we can see it even on us,
So they already have it on tiny ship scale as well. I mean, obviously that doesn't have to have propulsion and weapons and other systems in it. It's just a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I mean, I guess that makes sense, right? If literally all you have is some sort of a giant
a cloak and a bomb
power
yeah.
source, you can
And you could even make the power source the core of the bomb.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
so you
know,
can
it's
share duties with
2
that.
for 1 right there.
Now, of course, being an Enterprise rewatch, I guess chronologically, I would argue that there's another race that also had cloaking technology.
We'll get to the Suliban, Philip. okay, we're going.
Wait. What order are you going in, Darren?
We are going by. We're not even in an order. I'm just going by species.
Okay, so
I
we're still in
grouped the
Romulans.
species
All right,
together.
all right.
Yes.
Good.
So the scimitar had an amazing cloak. I mean, it could shoot while cloaked. It could fly really fast while cloaked.
I mean,
I mean, yes, you saw it for a moment, but still, like it was. I mean, Geordie LaForge said his cloak was perfect. I mean, that's high. That's high praise right there. That's going on his Yelp review.
I mean, you got to
right
think
there.
if we're just talking about Enterprise, and they had that technology 200 years earlier or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
At that point, close to 200.
that's been a
years, I
long
guess.
time.
You would. I mean, at
getting
some
from
point,
there to
yeah.
here, they've really advanced it.
I mean, yeah. Why would that makes sense to me?
No, I want to
like,
see the Enterprise opening montage with just Romulan cloaking. You're not going to see a lot, admittedly, but
Nope, it's just going to be pans around of nothing. Now I want to see a Romulan sailing ship cloaks, which is nothing. It's just the ocean. It's like green or some other weird color. Yes, I know our ocean can be green.
yes, because water has to be a different color.
yes. Yes.
But it was interesting to me also that actually sticking with the scimitar, I was going to talk about the vulnerabilities of Romulan cloaks, but with the scimitar, what I like and what I don't like. What I like is with the scimitar, and I'm sure it's with every other ship, but of course this is Nemesis. We had a little bit of money with the movie budget. It almost seemed like there were sheets of cloak. So like when one fell
Yeah.
down, like you still
When
had
it got hit,
other
it
ones.
would kind of not shimmer, but like peel and then re-envelop. Like it felt liquid.
Yeah, because it
almost.
seems like when on TV, like if you hit the cloak, the whole cloak comes out. Whereas on the scimitar,
Right.
you just hit like the starboard, cloak, or you hit like the dorsal cloak or something.
Exactly.
And then, but the thing with the scimitar that it could firewall cloak, I think that's just like writers going like, we don't want to follow rules. I'm like, come on now.
No, hang on. I mean, we saw in Star Trek 6. The
Yep.
Klingons had perfected firing. Well, not perfected.
Well, they had
it, but
prototyped it.
They
but
had
yes.
prototyped it, and it worked pretty darn well.
And that was a couple hundred years.
And it was
earlier.
100 years, 150 years before. Why would this
Yeah.
not, at this point, at some point, you have to remove technological limitations. That's just how it works. That's why when you jump forward, you set new rules, because that's why we reset the warp factor. Because you have then developed new ways to do things. And if you have this technology all this time, well, the power sources are going to get better and better over time. So it's going to get smaller, and it's going to get easier to produce. And then at some point, it's going to be like, okay, why can't we just shoot?
It's Feklar's law, okay? Everything gets better
Power
twice as fast. The power requirement.
And since the Nemesis is the last thing we've seen regarding cloaking technology in canon, it makes sense that they'd perfected it at that point.
Yeah, I just feel like, I mean, I'm not necessarily arguing that there can be advancements, but I'm also like, at some point you just become all powerful. And it also is weird because using your 6 example, I know it's not Roman, so I won't talk about it. But anyway, Scimitar.
Well, no, we next is Klingons.
Okay, well, I was
going to
say the Scimitar is huge, like huge. It's like one of the biggest ships we see in a
it dwarfs.
mainstream.
I mean, all Romulan ships are big. Like the
but this
Warbird
is really
dwarfs
big.
the Enterprise D.
I mean, you may think Romulan ships are big, but sorry.
You have no idea how vast, incredibly huge they are.
I'm curious how big it is next to.
I mean, because you go with the Klingon bird of prey in 6. I mean, then that's a bird of prey. They're not that big in the grand scheme of things. That's a prototype.
Even the larger class, because there are 2 classes.
Yeah. But with the Scimitar, I mean, like, was that the only one that existed? You know, and then
I believe so.
Because that seems like a bad prototype to go big. Go small prototype. And then,
well, it's an Earth killer. Is what it's built for.
But anyway.
So yeah, but no, like you said, we've seen the shooting wall cloak technology in Star Trek 6. Great, story device there. And again, just kind of like the Scimitar, when it does fire, you do see it for a brief moment. I mean, the effects budget obviously wasn't quite the same in the technology as, Star Trek Nemesis, but still, except for that poor tailpipe, that fatal flaw led to its downfall. But I mean, we have also. I
mean, you mentioned. I mean, maybe I'm just. I don't know if you're going to do something separate with this. But the Romulans are the one who have an explicit treaty with the Federation regarding cloaking.
Yeah, we can talk about that. So in the 24th century, the Federation, protected its borders, and
the neutral zone.
Back in, the neutral zone. And so in 2311, we have the Treaty of Algeron, and that's where basically the Federation agreed to not develop or use cloaking technology. And also, later, the Bajorian Provisional Government would outlaw cloaking devices as well, which it's like, well, one's the Federation, one's the Bajorian Provisional Government. Not quite the same.
But of course, I think it's an interesting concept, and so if you go with it, and I think you can, even though it seems like a...
Kind of the arms raceness of
it seems like a big chip, but, it's a chip you're going to have to use every now and then, so... If the Federation just said, "Hey, we're going to use this because we really want peace," but then I think the cool part of that is and they never explored it. And I mean, I get they didn't, but Deep Space Nine, when they started the Defiant, I know we're not in Starfleet, but when they had the Romulan officer on board in order not to abrogate or violate the treaty on the Defiant, I think that was cool.
Yeah, it was a nice out.
It was cool. The treaty's stupid and really dumb.
Well. But think of it the alternative. So, yes, you're like Philip said, you're playing this huge chip, saying we're not going to develop this pretty powerful and important, weapons platform. But by getting peace, 1, you don't really need it, and 2, what would be the social cost of now getting into a literal arms race with cloaking technology against the Romulans, who already are leaps and bounds ahead of the Federation.
The cloaking device is not an offensive weapon, though. It's a defensive weapon.
If you can cloak while fire, Daniel, it's an offensive weapon.
Presumably during the treaty,
a minefield,
And it doesn't. I mean, you can use it of course, you can use it to hurt someone, but you can't directly hurt someone with a cloak. Mm-hmm. I guess unless you run your ship into them and they're not aware you're there. I mean, it's not an offensive technology. It's defensive. It's a stealth technology. It helps
True.
you. It helps you. It can definitely help you to harm others.
But yes, our stealth bombers are defensive.
But they're also bombers. If they were just stealth, then they would not be able to hurt anyone.
Right. But that's
if
the thing.
You're
a starship is not...
a stealth reconnaissance drone, you are not an offensive weapon. You are a tool. Right. So
no, I understand that. But I'm saying, though, if you have a Romulan warbird that can cloak and then go into Earth orbit,
Yeah.
Like that's
Why would- Yes,
that's a
of course.
first strike weapon.
I mean, there's,
Sure,
there's,
and
there's
we-
no
and there's-
peaceful reasons you'd want to cloak. Like, oh, we just want to have a bunch of surprise parties and don't want you to know about
We're
it.
really private. Like we really don't like people looking at our
So
ships.
I just watched Who Watches the Watchers the other day.
Ugh.
And by the way, the
Talk about
Federation
Star Wars, Darren.
the Federation does have apparently some level of cloaking technology because the duck blind
That's
is the cloak.
holographic.
That's hologram.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, what's the difference? Anyways, I mean, if you could provide a holographic, would that be skirting the
one is
treaty?
against the treaty and one is not.
Well, no, it's interesting.
No, I know what you're saying though. Yeah.
I mean, and this isn't talked about, maybe because it's not. But anyway, so insurrection. I know we don't.
Wait, just 1 second. And now I'm picturing like Picard being like, "Oh yeah, no," or Pressman. He's like, "We didn't make a cloak. We're just holographically projecting the stars behind us in front of us."
Isn't that
Totally
the exact
different
same
technology.
technology? It is the exact same technology.
Well,
anyways,
no, you said duck blind, Daniel, and maybe you're
Right.
onto something because in insurrection, we have cloaking suits.
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Those.
Now, maybe it's because we
are
were in a
cloaks.
Romulan alliance because that was during the Dominion War, so that may have been.
But
But that was
but
being used for peaceful purposes, I suppose.
You're right. I had forgotten about the isolation suits.
Yeah, but I do want to stick on this point just for a minute because I think the treaty is totally one-sided, and there's no reason the Federation would have ever signed this.
Is
piece
it
of
not a
garbage.
great deal, Daniel?
It
Isn't
is
that great, Pressman?
I can make
Daniel.
so much better deals. Trust me, I'm going to make the best deals, the biggest
Lord.
deal. No, seriously, it is a terrible, terrible deal for the Federation. I don't think they would have signed it because it puts them at a severe a tremendous disadvantage for no. I mean, yeah, peace is nice, I guess, but it's like we're not. But Romulans aren't the only
Yeah,
one.
peace is okay. It's a little overrated.
I mean, it's like
Romulans-
managing the environment and economy. I mean, they're equal, right? I mean, what's
And first of all, we know, and we'll talk about it later, I'm sure. It's not like we stopped, and
True.
and it
I'm
doesn't.
supposed to talk about that, Daniel.
It's just I don't know. I think so. So the actual reason that the Federation doesn't use cloaking technology is because Gene said that that the Federation wouldn't use something so deceptive.
cowardly? It's like a sneak attack.
Right. Again.
Yet the Klingons use it all the time.
Exactly.
And they're
so
cowards.
I think there is. Get off my bridge.
Yeah. I would kill you where you stand.
And I just think I get what he's saying. Like, it makes sense with the Star Trek idealism and optimism. In universe, it does not make sense to me, and I think it's dumb. And I think it certainly would. Maybe that they would sign that treaty. It would not last for 50 years. It would not last for 100 years. They're gonna be falling further and further behind every other superpower.
Well, I would say a modern day analogy.
Which they kind of do.
Yeah, I would say
Like, they get their butts kicked by the Borg and other major powers later, and I'm sure if they had a cloak, that would probably help.
I would say the modern analogy would be
Didn't help the Defiant.
would be a nuclear power, right? So America, I mean other nations too, but America has an interest. Like, pretend they're the Romulans for a second. To say, yes, we have this technology, but we don't want you to have it, and we're willing to give you whatever you want, not to promise not to develop nuclear capabilities, or at least nuclear weapon capabilities, like the Federation would be. And so maybe the Romulans, were like, we'll give you XYZ.
But we're going to use it to build power plants, Philip, not cloak ships.
So, I mean, it could be the Romulan interest to give a Federation, like, we don't know what the Federation
But
got
what-
out of this other than peace. Like, they could have gotten, like...
Right. Hopefully they got something a
Well,
little
it could
more
have been
than just
Romulans
peace.
were like, we're going to go back to our old borders. You won't hear from us in 50 years.
So they got space land.
Yeah,
and
no, that I don't. Okay.
Cloak for peace. Cloak for peace. Cloak for peace. No,
I don't know,
no,
this is-
no blood for Cloak. No blood for
It doesn't-
Cloak.
Oh, jeez.
It would be it would ultimately be an equalizer anyways. The Federation doesn't gain anything more than anybody else at that point if they have the cloaking technology and everyone else does as well. At that point, okay, so what? Now everybody
Right.
has it. We're just going to be flying around
Mutually
blind all the time.
assured cloaking.
Yeah, but I say we. The Federation is put at a distinct disadvantage in this like
Arms
hardcore disadvantage for at least 100 years, as far as we know in
I
canon.
think 70
wow,
years. I think
something like
Picard says, but still, that's a long time.
And there's no way.
So-
there's just no.
So what should we do, Admiral Pressman?
Well, they just wouldn't have signed that treaty. That's all. Anyway, sorry. That's my
No, that's a good point.
That's my rant about it. But
Well, the other, so there's the Romulans. We can do, we'll just quickly touch on the Suliban.
Well,
like
did
Philip
we really do the
mentioned.
Klingons, though?
Well, I mean, okay, the Klingons, I mean, they have the prototype, they have, Bird of Preys and Vorcha classes, but I mean, it's pretty...
But what do we
pretty
think about?
staple.
Y'all mentioned this in jest, but I think there's a serious discussion to be had here. Isn't it cowardly to use a cloak? Is that a warrior's weapon?
I guess it's just in the eye of the beholder.
I don't know.
'cause-
That's like saying, is it cowardly to use camouflage? I don't.
Klingons
think so.
don't use camouflage.
Is that true?
Well, think of it this
They're
way,
like
though.
8,
Is it
7 feet
cowardly
tall
to
and
use
hard to miss them.
camouflage?
I wish they could camouflage the smell.
Well, they everything on their planet could be ginormous, so 7 feet wouldn't be that impressive.
Well, I think of it this way, though, Daniel. It's like, would it be dishonorable to use camouflage if it's not a perfect analogy, but like if your opponent could not? Because that's the thing with cloaks. It's like, yeah, the Klingons are using it, but the Federation does not have that technology. So actually, the Klingons benefit as well from the stupid
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
treaty of Algernon.
You notice we don't have a treaty with the Klingons. But anyway. Well, at least with cloaks.
Well, we have
With
a
cloaks.
general non-aggression pact.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in Picard's time.
Because it seems to me that and this isn't a Klingon episode discussion, but the Klingons in TOS are much more devious. And I don't mean that in a negative way necessarily, but they're a little bit more sneaky, devious.
Half the quadrant knows it.
Yeah, but like when we get the reinvention, I'm not saying that necessarily in an ugly way, but the reinvention of the Klingons and TNG, that's when we get the warrior, blah 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 blah. So maybe as a culture we can say they changed, and they just because you notice they don't use it in. Well, I guess they do. I guess they do. I was gonna say they don't have it in all their ships. That's not true. We've never seen a Klingon ship that doesn't have a cloak in the 24th century, but
Nope.
yeah. So
That's true.
I think it's just a tool of war.
But no, I think I see your point though. Of it does seem that'd be interesting. See again, maybe who knows? Maybe that's something Discovery will go into. Is like there's certain factions of the Klingon Empire that don't use cloaks because they feel it's dishonorable.
is this like sort of like the what's the word I'm looking for? Not hippie Klingons, but anyway, we don't.
No, never a hippie Klingon.
No.
That's
Like,
you can't
we
say
don't.
that.
We don't use cloaks. That's not what we do.
What would a Klingon Herbert be called?
Hipster Klingons.
Hipster Klingons. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah.
I don't want to picture a hipster Klingon. Okay, Phil.
Well, I mean, they're listening to some Klingon opera artists you've never heard of. It's like
right.
Starbucks with blood wine is what I'm trying to think of. But anyway, I mean, wouldn't it be Starbucks? Of course, it'd be a local, organic sourced blood
Is
wine.
Catching your opponent by surprise is not dishonorable.
When you want to look them in the eyes as you.
I think dishonor is very subjective
Well, of course
in the
it is,
Klingon
but-
species.
Yeah.
Okay, well, moving past our Klingon brethren, we have the Suliban, who, they got their cloaking technology from the 28th century, so that's kind of
Do we know that?
Yes, we do.
Wait, are we talking about the fact that they can turn invisible?
No,
the
we're talking
ships.
about the cell ships
Okay,
can
gotcha.
cloak.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, the cell ships. Okay, sorry.
Because I don't think
was confused.
the actual ships. Oh lordy, I feel like I can say this. I've been watching season 1 too. I don't think they're larger ships, which we usually don't see much of. But there was one or two
we
episodes
mostly just see
where
the
there's
cell
like a bigger
ships.
ship. I don't think that can cloak. I think it is just the cell ships.
Yeah. It's because, again, it's like a reconnaissance spy espionage ship.
And that apparently you can get the cloak on your hand and you can lose an arm like Trip did. So.
That sounds like a great plot point, Philip. I really want to see that in an episode. All right, so we do want to touch on that. And, like Philip brought up, you have the Jemadar, who I don't recall them having cloaks on their ships, yet
yeah.
they cloak their people. It's been a while since I've watched some DS9, so okay, that makes sense. That makes more sense. But yeah, but having a personal cloak...
I feel like you're talking about like Star Trek 4. Cloaked ships, sir? No, cloaked people.
Yeah, I mean, now, and they really are cloaked because it's kind of like a predator. like from the movie Predator.
And then I guess they don't consider it cowardly. I mean, the Jem'Hadar are a very warrior species as well. I mean,
That's true. Of course, they were also told to do it by the founders, so
Yes.
they're not going to complain.
but when they attack, they uncloak. I mean, they could just kill you cloaked, but they don't.
That's true. That's true.
You know what it is?
Okay.
They can't stab while cloaked, just like a ship. They have to.
Yeah,
So I
that's
looked
exactly the same thing.
I looked it up because I was curious because it never seemed to, I thought it was just like part of their genetic engineering or innate abilities.
It's something they wear.
I would imagine.
No, it says this is what Memory Alpha says. They were designed to have excellent blah blah blah. We don't care about that. They also had the ability to shroud themselves, a form of camouflage that acted as a personal cloaking field. So I don't think it's a technology. I think it's like an ability,
biotech?
Yeah, some sort of an ability that was
Chameleon.
engineered into them.
Yeah, that's true. Although their clothes chameleon as well.
Well, yeah, that's just one of those things. You have two choices. Either they can cloak their clothes, or they
Or
run
they're
around naked all the
Wookiees.
time.
Yeah.
So-
Wait a minute. Maybe they are naked.
that's true. Maybe their clothes are. They don't reproduce, so there's nothing to hide. I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. But here we go. So it says that only the most observant individuals could see this.
It's called the Ken doll cloak.
Well, is it? I mean, and this is where this is the general discussion of cloaking, where we play fast and loose, and it's fine. And I guess don't think about it too much, unless we do want to think about it too much. Like, how do you see a cloak? And I know that, yeah, you don't, but you do, of course. Right. And I think there's times we play fast and loose with you can. Okay, so most of the time you can't see a cloak, right? But then the parts when you can. So like Star Trek 3 jumps out at me. So when the Enterprise is around Genesis, I'll wait for it. Sulu and Kirk are like, "What's that shimmery thing right there?" And it's like probably some sort of energy field, like a cloak. And like so, there are times you can't see it. And then I remember in the Defector in the Next Generation, I think there's when there's the alleged secret base. I think Picard or someone says, couldn't they just cloak it? Or maybe Riker asked that, and Data's like, well, then there'd be a shimmering effect or something that you could see it on the planet or something.
Right, like it's easier to cloak a ship in space than it is something on a planet.
But it's to me a surprise of, and we could even talk about cloak detection, but just visually seeing it, times when characters can see the cloak and sometimes when they cannot see the cloak.
Yeah. I mean, it's all plot driven, of course, because it really depends on how you define what a cloak is. Is it just the visual aspect of it? Because if that's the case, if it's literally just being able to
usually
not
it's it's that plus like things on the electromagnetic spectrum,
Exactly.
things on sensors. Because otherwise we just have Geordi LaForge look out the window. He's like, "Hey guys, there's a cloaked ship right there. I can totally see it."
Or, to the ship's sensors, there's almost no difference. It's not like I don't think the ship probably does have some form of like visual scanning range, but I
Right.
imagine 99% of its scanners don't scan for anything on the visual range.
Aren't optical.
Yeah, so I don't know.
They're not analog.
I'm trying to remember. Something's clicking in my mind, but I can't remember where that happened. Like, we're cloaked, but unless they go out and look out a window, they won't see us or something. But I don't know. It's from 50
I
years
do
worth of
remember
Star
that
Trek.
line
There's something
somewhere. I think maybe it was like a partial cloak, like it was from the sensors, but not visually. Who knows? But that's very rarely how they portray the cloak.
A balance of
Wasn't
terror?
it-
Balance of Terror.
Wasn't it like if we get close enough, we could see them or something? I can't remember.
Maybe.
Maybe I remember.
Well, they had energy signatures that they could pick up, and that's what they backed away from.
Okay.
And that's so, at that point, it wasn't as refined.
And to me, they playing fast and loose with cloak detection, because it is. I mean, it makes sense in as much as
Everyone knows you use a tachyon beam.
Well,
I mean, that's just common knowledge.
But to me, that does show the reason to that. Even though we can't see it, haha. Cloaking technology has advanced because how can you see it cloaked more? I don't know, but because we know in
Right.
Balance of Terror,
less things can detect it.
right? Balance of Terror, they can somewhat find it, and then in the Enterprise incident, which we kind of sort of talked about, not really, I suppose, which is still the Romulans. The Federation steals a cloaking device, so theoretically, you would think we learned some things from it.
That'd be cool if like a novel talks about that being the genesis of the Pegasus prototype.
Maybe.
Pegasus?
Because I could see that.
Because then we seem to go back to, at least in the TOS movies, of like, oh, how could you detect a Klingon cloak unless you look at in Star Trek 3.
Right.
But then, of course, Star Trek 6, again, introduces the concept. And so do we argue that the prototype Klingon bird of prey was just a story aberration and then, like, we forgot about it? Or do we have some sort of headcanon of why that didn't work after Star Trek 6?
I assume
you also have to... I was just going to say, like, you also have to remember they do specifically name it as the prototype. And yes, while you could technically make more, it makes me think of, inherently when you have something that's a prototype, it's only been built once, and it just everything happens to align and be properly calibrated to do what it's meant to do, and that could be very difficult to replicate. Like, they obviously haven't figured out a way to mass produce that technology into the other warbirds,
or hide the plasma.
Yeah, that just
and it failed. So it's like,
well,
it was destroyed.
It did and it didn't. I mean, it was successful up until it was destroyed by torpedoes. So, I mean, it could have been, even if it's slightly detectable, it's still also very successful because unless you know what you're looking for all the time.
Plus, it could be a small portion of the Klingon High Council only knows about it. Like, it was a splinter faction of Klingons that built it anyway.
That's what I was... The way I would justify it would be to say maybe, like, the development facility was on Praxis or something
that.
That's bad luck.
In the Klingon solar system, guys, there's this big planet, and they were hiding the construction of the secret...
so only 3 people knew about it.
In a big black box, yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
But then, like, you have... I'm blanking on the name, but
that's a vengeance joke.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. But you have the unification parts 1 and 2, or at least part 2. Where was the one with Data?
Yeah, that's unification 1 and 2, where he's
in every
on
episode.
Romulus.
No, the one where he was.
Well, he's on Romulus. yeah.
No, the one where he was in command of the Sutherland.
Oh, yes.
That was the Klingons.
Command?
No. It was Klingons. It was not Redemption.
Redemption Part 2.
Yes. Sorry. I was messing up my Klingon Romulan storyline 2-parters.
Yeah, he works on making a gravitic sensor net.
Yeah, but the whole fleet
Forge helps deploy.
Yeah, the whole fleet though has a sort of like super net, sensor net to detect Romulan cloaked ships. But of course, it's not something you do all the time, I guess, theoretically. But anyway, I guess my point is that we always sort of create for the stories, we can detect them now, and then next series we can't.
Yep.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that's why when I see, it's like I don't want... I mean, yes, I like Star Trek, I like science fiction, and I like knowing how things work, but I'm okay with certain parts of the story not... Like, I don't want a super accurate technical manual of a cloak and what it can and can't do. Like, the writers would be dumb to put themselves in a box like that. So it makes sense to keep some things nebulous.
Like the Mutari Nebula, maybe?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or nebulae.
Cloaks can't work in there, I'm sure.
No, nothing seems to work in there.
Now, moving on to Federation cloaks. I know. This is a level 6 clearance, the rest of this podcast. But obviously we get, the great Star Trek episode Pegasus with Admiral Pressman, who has... we learned that Riker knew about it. Everyone knows about
Ensign
it.
Babyface.
Ensign. So, yeah, this is basically a rogue group of the Federation. Yeah, making a prototype cloak, but it was even cooler because it was an interphasic cloak that could go through solid matter, so you could hide in a planet, which sounds crazy, but this cloak was really, really advanced considering the Federation developed it. Like, you'd almost think like they stole it from the Romulans again. That makes more sense.
The interphasic is a very interesting concept. I mean, it'd be kind of scary as hell. I mean, like, we're just going to go fly through the asteroid.
Hope it doesn't fail.
You're like, what's this, what's it look like when the rocks, asteroids coming through.
Well, we saw.
Yeah,
we did.
That's freaky, though.
But still, yeah.
I mean, like...
Yeah, it's like we're going to chill in the core of a planet, because that's good for the ship.
Like, what would you literally see as, like, a person?
You would see nothing, because there's no light on the inside of an object. So I don't know. You wouldn't... It would just be black, I assume.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm. That's also boring. But
it is boring, which is why they didn't do it. This is one of those times where Star Trek breaks itself, because If you had this technology, it would make Star Trek super boring to watch. Nobody would ever be able to shoot at anybody else. Nothing interesting would happen. You'd just be able to float through everything, and it'd be just kind of boring.
Let's just interface all the Federation, and then no one else can touch us. And
yeah, it's a little too much. So it's good that they didn't go back to it. But it's also same thing with the Star Trek 6 Bird of Prey, where it's like look, yeah, these quote unquote prototypes make great stories, but then you have to deal with the fallout, because if you have developed this technology, even if it doesn't work, this is the thing.
You can't
I think
undevelop the technology.
Yes. Like it's like Star Trek writers don't know about the development of new technologies, because it's like, oh, it didn't work once, everybody just gives up on it, throws the book in the
it's like
closet.
how we don't use time travel in the 24th century. We use the hell out of it in the 23rd.
Yeah. Like the one time that I think that they do a really good job of something like that is the eugenics stuff, because supposedly it got so bad that we banned, and this is in canon reason that we could do this stuff, but we don't. We learned our lesson the hard way, and we don't do it. Right. Other than that, it's like, no, hey, if we could have this interphase technology, it would be done. But the Borg couldn't touch us. Nobody could touch us.
But I mean.
And then they'd assimilate it, and we'd all be screwed.
Well, yeah, they get hold one person that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, but how come the Borg don't have a cloak? They've assimilated the Romulans. And
they don't need a cloak.
They don't need it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Well, they haven't won using anything else, so I'm just throwing that out.
They lack three-dimensional thinking.
This episode, though, is cool just because we can see the Enterprise D cloak. I mean, that's really all I wanted to see.
That's true, yeah. And I have that listed down, the Enterprise D, all good things, future Enterprise, with the 3 nacelles, that extra warp core or something to power a cloak, something like that. But using that Z-axis like a boss.
Too many nacelles.
Well, yeah. And
how dare you say that? Dave?
Down with odd nacelled ships.
Okay, that I get. I get.
I mean, I'm a little disappointed that all good things future. I mean, not that I want Troy to die, but that the concept, at least, of what happened, doesn't have to be the individual pathways, sort of was negated. That because
I forget. Could the Enterprise decloak in yesterday's Enterprise in the alternate future?
No, I don't think so.
No. I mean, it was
because that makes sense if they would develop that technology if they were fighting the Klingons.
Well, I think they were getting their butts kicked so much they didn't have time to develop it.
Oh, they used to be artists and poets and scientists, Philip.
So besides the whole, we promised not to develop this. The one other problem with having widespread cloaking technology, and it's not only the Romulans and the Klingons that have it, although those are big aspects of it. Even if the Federation was the only people who were like, no, like the Ferengi would have it, everybody else would have it because you could either salvage or buy it. I mean, it would be super readily available, at least crude versions of it. And it's not. So it's kind of silly to me that because even some of these
like any other commodity, you would see it way more.
Yes, exactly.
That's like no one has phasers. It's like, we outlawed phasers. We can use torpedoes, but we can't use phasers. And it's like the Federation doesn't use phasers because who knows?
Well, we don't use trilithium devices, and we don't use that weapon that the Sony used. So
Oh yeah.
And we don't use Kevin.
He knows what he did.
So yes, well, also in the Federation we have the Defiant, like we mentioned. So maybe this is how we get back to them. We say, the Defiant, put a person on our ship, and we'll only use it in the Gamma Quadrant, and then we break that rule.
It's a prototype.
Way later.
Yes,
that's always our loophole. Is it's a prototype.
Is the second one an NX? I don't remember.
Yes, because it's stupid.
It is stupid.
Wait,
I agree.
Didn't make that
totally
an NCC?
It is stupid.
That's so dumb.
Yes. I mean,
just because they don't really still want to remake the model.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Sao Paulo, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is turned into
was not an NX.
NX 74. I'm reading it because I have the ship in front of me.
Oh, they gave it the same register number?
They literally it's pointless.
And no B
or A or anything. Like
or A or anything. Gosh, that's
it's
really easy.
stupid. I mean,
I agree.
It's-
I agree.
like, look, I mean, I will if you want to. And again, I'm not the biggest Deep Space Nine fan, so I'm probably not the wrong person to ask. But if you're going to blow up the Defiant and then give it back to the crew, like with 2 episodes left for some bizarre reason, that's fine. But make it the Defiant A. That's fine. Daniel would still hate it, but I would get that. I would be like, okay, I see what you did. You just gave it the ship. You put the A on it. Haha, we all like that. But not just like, nah, it's the same thing. Like it never happened.
Yep.
Well, then why did we blow it up?
It basically negates. Yeah,
Yep.
That's the problem. There's no cost.
Yeah.
It's like, well, good thing we had this other one just sitting right here, ready for you.
I am loving this
A-team.
Defiant hate that's going on in this episode. This is good.
Well, we've been cloaking it until now, so.
Yeah.
Well, in DS9, we also have the self-replicating mines,
Yes.
which are really small. At least they seem to
Developed
be.
by a
ROM.
By a ROM.
By a
Yep.
ROM.
Ferengi was what I was going to say.
I like the statement better. By a ROM.
Well, also because Ferengi and Cloaking Devices also makes for one of my favorite scenes in Deep Space Nine. In the, I guess that's
Emperor's New
the
Cloak.
mirror universe where you have Quark and
Yeah.
Rom holding the invisible cloaking device.
Yeah.
So, actually, Philip, you mentioned earlier, and it is something to bring up here, where, Deep Space Nine doesn't drop the ball like this very often, but with the Romulan officer, the overseer, with the cloaking device, that was a really cool kind of concept in the beginning, and then she just disappears after 2 episodes or whatever, and it's gone. But then we still have free reign over the cloaking device, and it's
Yeah.
stupid. So
How cool would that have been if she was like literally a new member of the core
Yeah.
cast?
I mean, like,
I think
and
that
we've
would
talked.
work.
I mean, we've probably talked about, it, but like, she doesn't even have to be a core member, but she can just be the person that's always there.
like Garrick level.
Yeah.
Like Garrick's
Well,
a
I would
secondary
say like
character, but
Morn level.
she didn't even have to talk.
Yeah.
She's just always sitting by the cloaking device
Yeah.
or whatever.
where everybody cloaks your shit.
But so at this point, in the show, they've abandoned that. Not only have they abandoned that, like Rom understands the intricacies of cloaking.
Look, he's
devices.
really smart.
In,
I
Daniel.
get
in
I mean,
this area, he's really.
I get
smart.
it, but is it? I mean, shouldn't it still be super classified and super restricted? And, like he's not even. He never joined
No.
Starfleet.
Well, no,
Rom's never a part of
But
Starfleet.
he's a member of the engineering team.
But that's okay. So, but he's literally
No,
never
no.
taken the oath
Because
or
who's in charge of the engineering team, and who's chief engineer of the Defiant, and what does the Defiant have? You don't think Chief O'Brien's giving cloaking, reverse engineering classes, seminars on the weekends?
he certainly shouldn't be. I would think that would be treasonous, but I guess maybe I don't know what I'm talking.
I mean, since the last time he had an infraction on his record, he was stuck in virtual prison for 50 years. I mean, that guy better watch his back.
Rom is not even a member of the Federation. Like he doesn't even. He is so far beyond who should be getting these
Now,
secrets.
Daniel,
it's crazy.
I know you hate the Bajoran militia, but they are our partners on Deep Space Nine.
Rom is not part of the.
He
I mean, I
is.
guess he's
He's
part of the.
It's either one or the other.
He's part of the organization, maybe, but he certainly
No,
isn't,
he's part of the Bajoran militia. I mean, that's what they're called. They're not all infantrymen.
Right, but is he the only non-Bajoran?
He's a deputy.
That's
No,
just
yeah,
a part
I
of-
think so. I would say
Besides
yes.
Odo, I guess Odo
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
would count as well. Yeah, so I don't know how that.
He's got
works.
the ridge nose, so he's halfway there. Just
He's
his ears are a little
married to a
big, but-
Bajoran, so you know
He's been naturalized. Okay.
that would be interesting. Well, he can't.
He's
No,
been
no, he
nationalized.
can't because he can't give up his Ferengi citizenship because he's the Grand Nagus.
Oh gosh!
so
I can't
not
believe
only
that.
are we giving away, state Federation
Yes,
secrets.
So now
leader
the Grand
of the
Nagus-
Ferengi
We are
now
gosh.
has cloaking.
What have we done, Brian? What did you do?
Now the Romulans are going to never trust us again. There's no way.
So we gave this to you guys with specific instructions not to take it out of the wrapper and not to share it with
No.
anybody. And you basically gave it to the
No.
the leader
of
the Federation
the Ferengi
of the Ferengi
Alliance.
No,
government.
no, I can see how the discussion goes. Like, okay, so the Romulan liaison officer, they're giving him or her the.
They're sitting in the
Yeah,
wardroom.
they're giving her the brief. Chief O'Brien
Yeah.
or Cisco probably because he doesn't. He's like, so.
They're kind of like staring like.
So we leaked it. We did tell some of
Yeah.
our personnel, and she's like, "This is an outrage." Like, no, don't worry. The person at the time was the third shift plasma cleaner
Yeah. Well, why would you?
Funny.
It's a little awkward.
Bad news. It's kind of a bit of good news, bad news.
And so she's like,
good
oh,
news.
well, that's a
It
relief.
was only
Phew. I mean, he's
it's only one person. Bad news.
funny
He's
story.
now the Grand Nagus of the Federation of the Ferengi Alliance.
One of the most corrupt, morally bankrupt organizations that you could think of.
Well, at least he doesn't understand the technology. Well, he actually developed his own
cloaking
self-replicating mind system. But I mean, I'm sure he's not going to use that against
Yeah,
us.
I mean,
Here's the thing:
they kept away the
traditionally have
Dominion, but it probably won't be a big deal.
they have only worked for the betterment of their bank accounts. So I swear nothing bad could possibly happen.
And she's like
with this
freaking out,
situation.
and then Cisco's like, no, but he's stupid. Wait, that doesn't make you feel better, does it?
Silly, very silly.
This has all been a joke.
Joke with a story with a humorous climax.
Yes, this is a story. How did Spock put it? A story with a humorous climax. Yeah. Okay, I really want to see that scene now because that's gonna be. She's turning more and more green as they're discussing that, and then at the end she's just furious. Although I'm trying to remember, did they ever explain why that liaison just disappears and is just gone? All of a sudden?
They never.
It was
They
actually,
never talk
it
about
was it Seska. It was a recognizable actress. It was Seska, guys. I thought you think like I'm making these things up.
Oh, was it really
It was
Seska?
Seska. Yes, I mean
Wow.
it's the whatever the actress's name is. But yes,
Seska.
Yes.
I think it's just Seska. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Madonna. What I was going to
Or
say
Cher.
was that whole scene where it's Cisco sitting in a room with not Cisco but whoever sitting in a room with the Romulan lady. That was the scene right before the Romulan council scene in Nemesis, which explains what Shinzon was just like, okay, that's it, I'm done with this nonsense.
Let's just burn it all to
Kills
the ground.
everybody in the room.
No, I can see that. She's like, she gets that report. She's like, all right, I have to go report this to the Senate. Takes a while to get to Romulus, and so she's arriving in the Senate chamber, and she's like, they're in session. I'll sit in the back. I'll wait till they're done. Hey, why is that one woman leaving? That's kind of rude. Oh well.
Well, gentlemen, that has been a fun tour de force on an amazing technology. Will we see cloaking Klingons in Discovery? I'm pretty sure we will. I'm pretty sure we see it in the trailer. Either they're dropping out of warp or decloaking or something's happening.
Well, no, I think it's, and I mean, I'm not trying to get on a tangent. I think that's sort of the JJ warp effect that I'm not a fan of because it seems
where they snap out of it.
Well, it seems I don't have
there.
a problem with how it looks. I have a problem that short-range sensors don't exist in JJ verse. It's sort of like
it's like all of a sudden you're just
boom.
there.
Oh, like hey, where'd the ships come from? I'm like maybe if you turned on a sensor array, you might find out. Anyway,
yeah. Just build a wall and then they'll all just smash into it.
oh,
when
build
they
a
drop
wall,
out of warp.
Darren. That's your
here we go,
answer.
Darren.
Oh
He's
man,
on the wall
jeez.
talk. We need to end the show.
It's going to be a self-replicating cloaked mind wall.
A self-replicating wall.
A cloaked mind wall.
It would
I
be
like
a beautiful wall if you could see it.
That's basically what Rom does. And look, and then he becomes the Grand Nagus. I think I'm seeing a few too many parallels here in Star Trek. It's before its time. Oh, well, Philip, if someone wanted to talk to you about your Ensign Babyface days, where would they find you?
Oh, they could find me on Twitter at handle NC Public Servant. That's NC for no cloak.
And Daniel, if someone wanted to talk to you about the joys of the Nagus who would be cloaked, where would they find you?
They could find me on Twitter at OneUpDan. That is the number one, as in the Federation is number one, so no more bad treaties.
Wait, so Federation
I'm sensing
first?
a treaty episode in the future.
Federation first.
Oh,
yeah.
gosh. Why do you have this red ball cap on, Daniel?
There are way too.
It's part of
there are way too
Enterprise. We still wear baseball
Oh,
caps in
jeez.
the Enterprise era. So.
Well, if someone wanted to talk to me about getting political or not in Star Trek, it's just going to happen, guys. They can find me on Twitter under username Dr. Sci-Fi, DRSCIFI. Well, it's been a lot of fun talking about cloaks. I think it's time for us to disappear. I'm Darren Moser,
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
stranded here on City Alpha 3.
Come!